Worth a good place to find team totals, Gary.
A lot of those won't be out yet.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Too early. Too early.
That's all I want.
Oh, we are already live. It appears. Welcome into sportsbookreview.com. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And we started in just a touch early, and that is all right with us. No big deal. This is the college football show. It's all good. It's all hold on again. We have got to get this figured out. Sorry. So this is the college football show, and this is the week 3 pick show. We are ready to rock and roll. Go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. Do yourself a favor. Make sure that you have got all of the content that we have got for you for the entire college football season. It is going to be crazy. It's going to be unpredictable. And we're going to have all of the information right there for you so that you can know which way you need to bet every single Saturday. And starting here in a couple of weeks, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a good time. Go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Make sure that you like the video and you share it out. Tell your buddies about it. All that good stuff. Chris, let's go ahead and walk through the recap right quick. And we will...
we don't have to. I mean...
well, I don't want to lie about
I don't want to
lie about our stuff, but...
tell everybody about it.
I went 3-3 last week.
Oh yeah, that's what you don't mind.
My overall record is now 9-5.
That seems pretty good.
Chris is 1-5 last week.
Not as good.
Overall is 3-8. We'll go ahead and discuss some of the wins right quick. I had Miami minus 13.5. I had Louisiana. We both had Louisiana.
That's the only one I got it right.
I had Louisville minus 11.5. As far as losses, we both lost Florida State. That was a complete, utter debacle. Tulane minus 7.5. They should have covered that game. I mean, they get down 24-6 and then come back and win it. I almost didn't even want them to win it at that point.
I know. I felt that way about Florida State, not about Willie Fritz.
ULM and Army, I had the over 54. That did not quite get there. And then for you had ULM plus 19. Maybe we don't bet against Army. Maybe we just don't do that going forward.
We'll see.
You had App State minus 17 against Charlotte. That was a bad beat. That was just, they should have won that game by 2 more touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely should have won it by 2 more touchdowns.
I'll
they won
get
by
back
15
at them this week, though.
And you had Kansas minus 7. Our boy, who was it, Frankie?
Yeah.
Frankie that jumped in on the Saturday show told us to take Coastal Carolina.
Never betting against Les Miles.
Listen,
this is part of riding with a guy like Les.
That's a very good point.
It's going to be a bumpy ride sometimes.
You got a good point there. Good gracious. Good gracious. All right. So now that we've got the recap out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the games for this week. And we've got a brand new one on the list. We have Houston and we have Baylor. That is rotation 143, 144. That is at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. It is the big noon kickoff, and I'm pumped. I am pumped about this. We got Dana Holgerson. We got Dave Aranda. Dana is moving back into Big 12 play now.
I know. It's kind of crazy.
He knows a little bit about this matchup, this game that he's getting into.
He's gone up against Corey Brewer a time or two.
Yes, he most certainly has. Houston, this is the biggest thing that everybody has been pointing to, right? Teams that have had at least 5 more spring practices in their first games, they are 6-2 against the spread. Houston has had 8 spring practices. Baylor had 0. Now, Baylor has their returning quarterback, all that good stuff. Let me go and tell you this. The talent advantage actually has Baylor favored by 2 points in this game. 2 points, so that's good. Houston returning production, 83%. This is what Dana did last year. They kind of tanked. They kind of, whatever.
It's so weird in college football that they tanked.
Right. It's weird to say that. But they got guys to redshirt and whatnot. Now, a couple of them came back. Derek King and a few others hit the bricks. They are gone. And now they've got 83% returning production. That's across the board. They've got more returning production on defense than on offense, but they still got a ton. They got their starting quarterback back. They got all kind of guys. And they got talent there. There's only a 2-point talent differential between these two. So that's kind of surprising to me. But Baylor, only 51% returning production. So
they lost a lot of people. But they were recruiting well.
Yes.
Matt Rule was building that program. It's not like he left the cupboard bare.
But here's the deal. Houston, entire coaching staff is back.
100%.
They've got a second year in this system.
That's
they
right.
already know what the coaches expect from them.
Correct.
Baylor, you've got guys that have not even seen the field.
Yes.
That returning production number is number 108 in the country. Houston's is number 3.
Could be a rough year for Baylor.
I worry about this. Baylor was favored by 7 to open this thing up, right? And then, or 7.5 to open. It is now sitting at 4.5 in some spots, 5 in one other. I liked Houston initially, and I still might like Houston in this game, but I like Charlie Brewer. I like Dave Aranda. I like these guys. I like Larry Fedora as the offensive coordinator. I think you're going to see a lot of points.
There too.
I'm not going to bet it.
I'm not either.
I'm going to lean Houston.
If I played it, I'd play Baylor, but it's just a thing where you got almost 70% of the action all coming in on Houston.
Yeah.
I'll take the house if I had to pick a side. And I'm emotionally invested in
Dave
Aranda being good.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's an emotional bias. That's,
And I really like Charlie Brewer a lot.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I think he's the toughest quarterback in the Big 12.
But
he's not close to the best, but there is no one tougher than him.
This absolutely has last week written all over it with Iowa State and Kansas State and Kansas.
Oh yeah. And no. This could 100% be an outright win for Houston.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think if you
either.
play Houston, the play is just money line.
So we talk every week about the prediction tracker and the analytics averages.
What do they got?
The average is Baylor minus 13.5. It's pretty sizable difference there, but that's the thing. It's these analytics.
They're pulling data that's completely not realistic.
Yeah, it's just not realistic as of right now.
I would use the word obsolete, but I don't know that it was ever good data to begin with.
Well, it's based on talent, based on returning production, based on coaching tendencies, based on, da-da-da-da. Everybody's got their own different
But you're
method.
pulling tendencies. You're pulling Dave Aranda's defensive tendencies from one of the best defenses in the world at LSU.
Yeah.
That doesn't help. I don't know where you're pulling Larry Fedora's tendencies from.
I mean, I
love the guy. And I think he's a pretty good coach. But he hasn't really shown it the last couple of the last job that he had.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so it's just, it's hard for me to say, I don't know what data you're pulling from.
I agree. I understand where you're coming from on it.
What do you think of the total? Not to interrupt. But
the total of 59. Oh, no, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah.
64. It has moved up from 60.
It's gone up.
You can get it at 62.5, 63, a couple of different spots. You've got a 64 on there. I mean, I'm always wary of these early games.
First game.
Yeah.
For both of you. But
I'd probably go over because these are two teams that have got offensive weapons.
Thing. Either over or don't play it. It takes some balls to go under on this one, I think.
Yeah. With these two coaches, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move into the next game here. That would be Tulsa at Oklahoma State. This is another 12 p.m. Eastern time game. It's going to be on ESPN. Oklahoma State and Tulsa, 141, 142 are the rotation numbers here. And with that, the line it currently sits at what, 23? Yeah, 23, 22.5, 23.5. It just depends on which book you want to get it at. It opened at 22. Opened at 22 and has moved up a little bit.
Just a touch.
And I will say this.
That doesn't surprise me.
Going ahead and talking about the production tracker, or prediction tracker, excuse me. The analytic average, Oklahoma State minus 18.28. Now, Tulsa, pretty good against the spread as an underdog overall under Philip Montgomery.
Because they can put up points.
Yes.
This is a school that's hard to blow out because they can score with most teams.
You say that, and this backs that up. 88% returning production on offense. Only 34% returning on defense.
I only want to play Oklahoma State in this game, but there's no way I'm touching it because of that.
Well, here's the thing. 75% returning production on Oklahoma State's offense.
Yeah, I knew that.
86% returning production on defense.
Yeah, but that's not
good.
Like that had like the greatest vaunted defense in the world. And they never have in my lifetime. I don't see them being a lockdown defense.
But Jim Knowles,
Just because they're bringing a bunch of dudes back doesn't mean they're going to lock them down.
But I think that Jim Knowles will be able to get pressure on these guys.
I agree with that. In the trenches, they should dominate this game.
Yeah. Robert S. jumps in. He said, how can anyone rely on analytics and tendencies for week 1 or 2 in this COVID environment?
You can't.
He said you can't rely on it exclusively. No, absolutely not.
I fully believe we are completely gambling. Anybody who's doing great right now, that's amazing and that's awesome. Poor saps like me that are doing poor right now, we're all just slinging stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks.
Yeah, we're looking for any kind of edge that we can get. But
I mean, my philosophy right now, because I don't know anything, is I'm just betting on coaches that I like and quarterbacks that I like.
Yep.
If a team's got a better coach and a better quarterback, in my opinion, I'm playing them. And it hasn't worked out well. But I don't know that those quarterbacks I thought were good are actually good. I don't know that those coaches that I thought were good, looking at you, Les, are good. Are good. But they're still my guy. And so
there you go. There you go. So with this, Oklahoma State won last year 40-21. That's only 19 points.
That's 19.
That is not covering this spread.
I think this offense at Oklahoma State is
a
lot better than last year's, though.
I think so, too.
But I am really high on this Oklahoma State offense. Here's the thing.
Oklahoma State has played Tulsa 2 of the last 3 years. They are 2-0 straight up. They are 2-0 against the spread. If I was going to play this game, I would probably lean Oklahoma State just because of an overall talent spot. Because 100%. I think Oklahoma State's defense will be able to slow down Tulsa's offense enough. And I think that Tulsa's defense will not be able to slow down Oklahoma State's at all.
No, there's not a number. I'm trying to look up too many things at once. I'm not doing a good job of it. Over under on this game is big. It is
66,
65, 66. And I think I would play that over. I think Tulsa's going to score.
I think they could put up at least 20 points, and I
know
think Oklahoma State gets to 50.
Yeah, I was about to say, if Oklahoma State got to the high 40s to low 50s, it wouldn't surprise me. It would shock me more if they don't get to 45 than them to getting to 55.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
And to think that if you think Oklahoma State, I've watched this team play too long. I don't care who the coordinator is. I don't care who the talent is. They hadn't held anybody below 20 points in my life.
That's true.
I mean, they just don't. Everybody's getting 3 touchdowns on them.
Yeah.
It might be garbage time,
but they're getting touchdowns.
That's the play that I like the most in this game.
I can understand that.
I'm trying to find team totals, but you told me it's too early in the week. They're just not going to be out.
Typically come out.
I would be looking at Oklahoma State's team total. I'm sure it's going to be high. I would like the over in that one.
Yeah. Oh, I think I could roll with that. We'll talk about that a little bit on Saturday's show. Remember, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Of course, like the video, all that good stuff. Make sure your notifications are on because Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we are going to be live right here on Sportsbook Review's YouTube page. And make sure you go over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. You can keep up with all of our stuff over there as well. Let's move into the next game, the next biggest game. And this one has moved times. And I am so excited about it.
Best decision anybody made in a long time.
Oh, yes. Because the Army-BYU game was postponed or canceled or whatever they end up doing.
Please be postponed and not canceled.
App State at Marshall has moved to the 3:30 p.m. Eastern time kickoff on CBS.
Best game of the weekend.
I think so. If not the best, the most interesting. I will say that.
I think it's going to be a great game.
I think it's going to be a fantastic game, too. But Miami and Louisville might be the best game. But this one, I think, is going to be really,
hard
really
to argue
good.
with that.
The analytics have this App State at minus 5.35, according to the prediction tracker. And as it sits right now, it is App State -4, -4.5, -5, depending on the book that you get it at. And it opened at App State -3.5. We were both a little bit surprised. Now, when I
opened too big.
When I looked at the numbers, I understand it. I get why App State would be favored in this spot because of their history, because of whatever. Parlay King jumps in and he said, "What's up? What is up?" For everybody that's watching the show, if you want to jump in, give us your thoughts on these games. Tell us what your picks are for the weekend, what you like, what you don't like. We would appreciate that. Jump on in and help us out. We would love to hear your opinions. But App State returns 87% of their offensive production, only 53% on defense. Marshall is 78% on offense, 63% on defense. You can't take a whole lot away from what Marshall did in that first game against Eastern Kentucky. I mean, beat the brakes off of them.
That's right. They played a non-opponent.
Yeah.
App State played a far better opponent than Marshall.
Yeah, Charlotte, I think, is better than Eastern Kentucky. But
yes,
Charlotte
they are
ain't
better,
great.
but they're not great.
Agreed. And App State, we've already talked about, should have won by more than they did. Here's my question.
Okay.
The coaching matchup. You've got
close.
Sean Clark in
Not
his first
close.
year. And then you've got Doc Holliday in his, I think, 11th season.
Doc Holliday is going to take him to the shed.
That's the way
I've
leaning.
been wrong on picking coaches this year so far. I am going down with Doc Holliday.
As far
this
as
week, I'm going down with Doc.
Now, typically, this would be one of those where you bet the team that's had more spring practices.
But they both played a game. That's a little new.
App State has had 11. Marshall has had 0. But
They
Marshall
played a game.
got a game in week 1.
They played a game.
And App State got a game in last week. Now you've got Marshall with 2 weeks to prepare for App State. App State is coming into Marshall, coming into West Virginia. No, there's not a sizable home field advantage right now. But there is something about being more comfortable at home. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is one of my picks. Marshall +5 is one of my official picks.
Yep, same for me.
I really like this coaching matchup. I like Grant Wells, the new quarterback for Marshall.
I think Marshall's so much better than people think.
I
If
agree.
you don't follow that conference and you aren't paying attention to what's going on in these smaller conferences, in the Sun Belt, in the CUSA, you're just missing out because Doc Holliday is a real coach.
Yeah.
He's got some athletes. He has built up this Marshall team.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely correct about that.
We got somebody on here saying they love Houston.
+7.
Not +7.
It's no longer +7.
I don't know where you can find Houston +7. I hope you got it early.
Yeah, if you got it early, then there you go.
Then good job.
Let's see. Travis Overstreet jumps in. Yo, guys, throw a like. 25 watching, only 7 likes. These guys are the best. They give great advice. Show them love. Hey, we appreciate that, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah, look, it's a Tuesday afternoon. This is built for more
Checks
the
in the
rest
mail.
of the week. The Saturday morning show gets the most engagement, so we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys for watching and hanging out with us and spreading the love for sure. Let's move into game number 4 here, and that is Central Florida going to Georgia Tech. Now, Georgia Tech got a big win last week at Florida State, won 16-13. Jeff Collins and his shiny new toy, Jeff Sims, the new quarterback, the freshman quarterback, they are coming into this game, and they are,
How bad does Mike Norvell feel right now?
Well, Mike Norvell is the one that decided he didn't want Jeff Sims on his team.
He not just didn't had him. He was recruited, wanted to go to Florida State, and Norvell said, I think we're good at the quarterback position.
Yeah. He said, I'm going to bring in Chubba Purdy.
I would swap
this other guy
tomorrow right now. You can have Blackman. Let's just change jerseys.
Well, I think he thought that Chubba Purdy was going to be his quarterback. And Chubba's hurt.
I think the same thing. I do think the same, but you got to have depth.
Oh, you absolutely got to have depth. Shiloh Israel jumps in and says, Locke is Southern Miss. We're going to get to that one. Don't you worry a little bit about that. Parlay King says he loves the show.
Thank you.
We appreciate that for sure. UCF 4-2 against the spread against Power 5 competition in the regular season the last 4 years. Georgia Tech should have won by more against Florida State. They got a couple of kicks blocked. They missed another one, all this kind of stuff.
3 kicks blocked and 1 missed?
Yeah. But two kicks blocked and 1 missed, right? Oh, no, they had an extra point.
That extra point and 2 field goals. They had a touchdown worth of points blocked.
Yes, that's rough. Now, I don't know that Central Florida is as good as Florida State on the defensive line to be able to get those blocks, but
you play that game 100 times over. That is momentum. That is an FU to Florida State and not taking the ball. I'm telling you, that was their Super Bowl. Congratulations. Awesome win.
Talent-wise, UCF is better.
UCF, good football team.
Coaching-wise, I think they are very similar. I like Heupel and I like Collins.
Disrespect to what Heupel has done.
I like Collins a lot.
That's fine.
I think that Collins right now is in a much more difficult spot than Josh Heupel.
100%. He's in the second year of a rebuild, turning a team from a triple option team that for the
into a pro
decade.
style.
Heupel's just a really good football coach.
Oh, he certainly is. I mean, he did miraculous things at Missouri, leading them to a 6-6 record before he got the UCF job. But But yeah, Robert S. jumps in and said Collins is more focused on D as a head coach. He prides himself on having a tough defense. That D will play from the first to the last whistle for what it's worth.
I agree with that.
Yes, I agree. But like Chris said, Super Bowl last week, you get that big win at Florida State. It was a conference game. You're moving into a non-conference game. You're coming back home. You're maybe a little comfortable. The only reason I'm not betting this is UCF has not played yet.
That's the wild card that scares me.
Yeah, Georgia Tech has at least played. They got their guys out there. Georgia Tech had more spring practices. It was only 6-4 in that regard. But as far as just talent goes, like UCF is a better team. They are more conditioned to win, and Georgia Tech is still learning how to win.
That's right.
But they got it done last week.
We before the season started, people thought Georgia Tech could win a game or maybe 2 games. The fact that we think they're just going to all of a sudden start off 2-0 against Florida State and Central Florida.
Yeah.
Let's pump the brakes. Great win last week. Celebrate that. I think they did. And now you got to show up to the table again.
Yes.
Some point in time, you're going to go through the buffet line. The buffet line's going to get you.
The line is at 7.5 right now. And I liked it at 7. And there was even one spot that had it 6.5, and that was maybe for an hour, and it got hit immediately.
I was about to say it didn't stay under a touchdown long.
But I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it because over a touchdown kind of terrifies me in this spot, especially with a team that has not played yet this year.
But the problem is it's not the touchdown that scares me. It's either they're going to look sloppy and they're just not going to win the game. That extra point or half point ain't saving this thing. Yeah. They're either going to win by the hair on their chin or lose outright, or they're going to look good. They're going to be ready, and they're going to beat them up because they're the better football team. I don't see this being a close game to the spread. I think it's a 10-plus win for Central Florida if they look good and they show up well prepared, or they're going to lose. If I was taking Georgia Tech, I would take the money line because I don't think there's a middle ground here. You might be correct about that. And I could be dead wrong. I think that if Central Florida shows up and plays their best football, they'll winning this game more than a touchdown. All right, I'm with you. Parlay King said he's staying away from this game. Robert agrees with you. So he agrees with you. If I was going to do anything, I might toss Georgia Tech into like a round robin. Like if you're going to bet some round robins. Oh, no. If you want to play money line, underdog round, like I said, both dogs I've liked so far, I don't like them to cover. But if you play them, I'd play them to win. Yeah. I think you're right. All right, moving on. We gotta speed things up a little bit. Roll. Last big game that we're going to talk about, at least for our purposes, Miami and Louisville. Now this is going to be interesting, right? Rotation 115, 116. The analytics have it Louisville -3. The line as it sits is actually Louisville -2.5. All the way across the board. Yeah. Total is 64.5 here. That seems like a lot of points for, I thought that was amazingly high. Yeah, I think that's really, really high. Let's see. Parlay King said, what's the spread for Citadel and Clemson? They just released that line, and it is 44. I got one place got a 44. Yep, that is bet online. And you're laying a lot of juice. So Miami and Louisville lost 52-27 when they went down to South Beach last year. I was just about to say, bring up the score from last year. Louisville looked really good in their first game. Got out to a 28-7 lead. The only points that were scored in that first half for Western Kentucky was because of a dropped snap punt. Yep. That got them the ball on the 1 yard line. So, and Western Kentucky punched it in from there. Easy. But I will say this: Western Kentucky's Terrell Pegram, the Maryland transfer, is similar to what De'Aaron King does as far as moving out of the pocket, the way that he throws, all that kind of stuff. It's very similar kind of stuff. I think that Louisville is more prepared for Miami. Yeah, I agree with that. Than Miami is prepared for Louisville, because Louisville can throw the ball and UAB could not. UAB is a one-dimensional football team, and it was real easy to slow them down. I think Miami's a one-dimensional. I like King. I just don't know that they've got the dudes around King to let him throw the football. Yeah. I mean, they've got talent, but they were not able. When are they going to show it? I've been told for 3 years now and 3 different coordinators, This offense is going to be better. They've got talent. Yes, they're a big school in Florida. They have talent.
Well, look. They threw over 400 yards against Louisville last year.
Yes.
Like, they put up a ton of yardage, and they didn't do it running.
That was a beatdown.
Like, Williams threw the ball all over the place, and De'Aaron King is a great passer. The issue is, even against UAB, they had problems stopping that defensive rush.
Oh,
right?
no.
They were getting after the quarterback, and that's how De'Aaron King got all of his rushing yards, was getting out of the pocket.
That's right.
So I think that Louisville is set up for this game, and Louisville is a favorite by less than a field goal.
Yep.
I understand they got the brains beat in last year, but
Well, I think that's motivation. I think that tells me that Louisville's coming in this game way more prepared, coaching wise.
yes.
You taking Diaz? Or are you taking Satterfield?
I'm taking Satterfield all day,
And it's
every
not
day.
close. It's not close.
Second year of player development. You see what App State has done. It is player development, because App State, as far as talent goes, we talked about that App State Marshall game. Marshall is more talented than App State, but player development matters. We're 2 years removed from him being at App State.
100%.
And he's still good. And now you've got the second year under Satterfield at Louisville. I think these guys are better. They're bigger. They're faster. They're
Miami
all
beat their brains in last year, and I think they're going to hold nothing back.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I mean, this is a primetime ABC game.
Yep.
This is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, by the way, on ABC. The analytics have it Louisville -3. I think they win by a touchdown here. This is one of my official picks.
Yeah.
So
I'm going the same thing. I don't see Satterfield losing this game, and I don't see him not covering.
I agree.
And if he can blow the doors off, I see him blowing the doors off.
I think you're right. I think you are correct. All right, let's move into the interesting games. We've got to roll through, let's see, we got 5 interesting games that we're going to jump into very quickly. And then we're going to jump into our official picks and parlays. Interesting games. First one up, Boston College at Duke. That is rotation 113, 114. Analytics have it Duke -3.5. Duke looked okay against Notre Dame last week. Not terrible. They didn't get blown out. They were in the ball game late. They really kept up with this game, and BC ain't Notre Dame.
Nope.
And Duke gets to come home, and they're going to look all right. Parlay King says, I can't wait for this game. Hey, it's an early game. I think Duke with Chase Bryce, they are doing what David Cutcliffe likes to do. I think that defense is pretty damn good. I'm going to roll with Duke in this spot. The line has moved pretty significantly. I mean, it opened at 6, and that's not right. It didn't open at 6, did it? It came back down to like 4, I think, on Sunday night, 4.5, something like that. But it's back up to 6 now. Anything under a touchdown, I like here.
Yeah, it opened at 6, and it's 6 across the board. You can find 5.5.
That's yeah. I'll take a 5.5. Here's the deal. I like Duke a lot in this spot because Jeff Hafley, first head coaching job. You got a brand new quarterback there. You got brand new all kinds of stuff. They've got guys that are opted out. Boston College canceled practice back in late August for a couple of days because of all the protest stuff.
That's right.
Like, they have been not as into football.
Correct.
Like, and that's not a slight on Boston College. What I'm saying is I think Duke is more prepared.
I think but I think that's a valid point. Some of these big city schools that are in the heart of major downtowns, they have been focusing on way different things than a lot of these schools that are where we live and where we're from. Most of these schools are kind of out in the middle of nowhere country. I kind of think there are just less distractions being in the middle of nowhere than being right in the heart of a major metropolitan city while we're going through a crazy pandemic that the world's never seen, and B, all of the other unrest that our country has faced. It's a lot better to be in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, than in the heart of a city. Yeah. If you're trying to focus on football.
No, you're 100% right about that. Moving on from this, we both kind of like Duke in this spot, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Parlay King jumps in and says, South Florida +27? Huh? What do you think? We're going to move into that game right now. The analytics have got Notre Dame as a favorite of 25.81.
And open at -25. It is inched up. I've got them. The biggest number I see is 26 across the board. You can get 26 a lot of places. Yeah,
you can get 26. It's not 27 anymore, and that's okay. Hey, look, here's the deal. South Florida is one-dimensional as it gets. Jordan McLeod, the quarterback last week, 11 out of 16 for 68 yards passing. That's against the Citadel.
That's not real good, right?
11 completions for 68 yards.
That's bad.
It's kind of not
Okay.
Yeah, kind of not.
Right. I'm struggling with math sometimes.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Notre Dame is going to dominate both lines.
I think so too.
I mean, this is a rebuilding job for Jeff Scott. And this is his first head coaching job. Now he's got a game under his belt. That's good.
So does Notre Dame.
And
Notre Dame looked iffy against Duke, but we have to remember that is basically a warm-up game. If we think that's going to be their standard the whole season,
yeah,
I think we're wrong.
No, I think you're correct
some
about
of these
this.
teams are going to improve, and some of them we saw what they are.
Yeah, you're 100% right. 100% right. Moving on from there, the guys are in the chat discussing what a lock is. A lock is a game that is absolutely going to cover. So for any of you that don't understand what that is, that's the way that thing rolls. Moving on, Navy at Tulane is the next one on the board. That's rotation 133, 134. Navy looked like hammered dog crap on Monday night, Labor Day, against BYU. They got beat, what was it, 55-3 or 45-3?
Pretty bad.
It was a mauling, and Ken Niumatalolo came out and said that they had not even practiced tackling since the bowl game.
And wasn't sorry for it.
Yeah. And
did not think there was anything wrong with that.
And now, what he said something else today.
So
what did he say?
Not today. So earlier he came out with criticisms of the Admiral because he didn't think they should be playing in the what's it called?
The Commander-in-Chief trophy.
Commander-in-Chief trophy round robin against the other academies. And then he came out later and apologized for criticizing the Admiral and said they're ready to play. I don't think this guy's focused on football.
I don't think he is either.
He openly said they didn't practice tackling, and he said if I had to do it over again, I would have, because the safety of my kids means too much to me. I think it is far more dangerous to send them out there to play live football at a very competitive level without practicing. They might not get the coronavirus, correct, but they might get a severed spine or a broken collarbone or a snapped femur because they're not ready for collisions. That is incredibly unsafe.
Travis Overstreet says Navy comes back and gets the win.
All right, I'll take that bet. I'm taking all that action.
Well,
all that action this week.
Look. What did you have it at before?
7.
You had it at 7.
Right now, you can get it at 7. I saw it this afternoon at 7.5.
It is down to 6.5 at Bookmaker.
Yeah, so it's continually going down. Everybody's taking Navy. Go ahead and all pile on that boat. I am out on Ken Niumatalolo, and I am in on Tulane.
Willie Fritz with his brand new 7-year contract extension, right?
Got paid.
Cheers to Mr. Fritz. All right, moving on from there, Louisiana Tech at Southern Miss. This could be interesting. This is a conference game. This is a big-time stuff here. Neither team got a single spring practice in. Louisiana Tech minus 2.17 is the analytical average. The actual spread as it sits right now is 5.5, 5. Yeah, it's gone up from the 4 that it opened, where Southern Miss is actually favored. EAB jumps in. What's your guys' best bets of the week? It's coming. It's coming. Wait just a couple of minutes and we will get there. Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss here. Southern Miss interim head coach Scotty Waldron. Look, he's 30 years old.
I was just about to say.
And
he's a child, man.
And now he has been in these like coaches 30, under 30, all that kind of stuff. He was a head coach 4 years ago at East Texas Baptist University and did fantastic things. He took a winless team to a 7-win team. He's done good stuff.
Good.
Everybody seems to think that he is like the next one up. They got destroyed by South Alabama, who I think is pretty good.
Do you think they got destroyed because of scheming? He was the OC of that team. Remember, he was the offensive coordinator of that team.
I think that he is.
So he was not
trouble.
Drawing up plays that didn't help his team score because he wanted to get the coach fired so he could be the head coach. Because that's what you have to say if you're going to talk yourself into this kid.
Yeah. It's
because
weird.
He was the OC of the team, calling the plays that played like crap.
So Shiloh Israel said he was a D3 head coach. Victor Yoro said, how is Southern Miss the favorite here? I'm confused.
Me too.
Well,
Me too,
here's
my
the thing.
friend.
Southern Miss has played a game, and now they've had an off week.
That is
and
correct.
Whatever.
That is correct.
The other side of this is that Louisiana Tech had to deal with a little bit of the hurricane that came through.
100%.
Now, Southern Miss may be dealing with a hurricane here very shortly, like
That's
today, because there's a serious one coming through right now.
Yeah, this is a game that could end up getting wiped off.
It might be, but we're going to
talk about it as if it's going to happen.
But Louisiana Tech had, Travis said, Louisiana Tech 0 spring practices, but they did beat Miami last year. That's true.
Listen, y'all, I know that the stats say those spring practices were 5 months ago, man. I just can't believe.
No,
I think that is a correlation. I don't think it has anything to do. I don't think it's causation at all.
No, it
just happens to be that all the people that won were left-handed. It's just random.
Louisiana Tech is replacing their all-star 3-year starting quarterback.
I agree with that. That's a problem.
That's a problem. And they've got 2 brand new coordinators. They lost both of their coordinators after having such a good year the last couple of years, really. And they've got new coordinators that had no spring practices at all. You've got a new quarterback, new everything coming in.
We just have a team that fired their head coach.
I will tell you this.
You talking about stability?
There's no stability on the either side, really, other than Skip Holtz. Over
one game in the middle of a pandemic, they shoot the coach in the head.
Louisiana Tech has won and covered 5 straight against Southern Miss. This is the last 5 years. They play every year. They're in the same conference.
Pretty strong.
It's pretty strong. Louisiana Tech.
I would normally say
bit of a talent edge.
Because I like to go the other way with some of these trends that don't matter at all.
The other thing that scares me is Louisiana Tech is still going to have guys out, because remember they had to cancel the Baylor game last week. They're still going to have some guys out for the COVID stuff, but we have no idea who that's going to be until Saturday.
You're right.
So I'm a little scared.
This line is fishy. This line is definitely where'd it go? 67% of the people are on Louisiana Tech, and the number's getting bigger. All of the signs say go to Southern Miss. I'm not doing that, man. I just can't believe this boy wonder taking over the job is so great. If he was on the staff calling the plays when they just got routed.
Yeah.
Like that, I can't make my brain do that kind of logic.
I agree.
If those kids fight hard for him, then shame on them for not fighting hard for him 2 weeks ago.
Or for Jay Hobson, for that matter. Look, there are some cases where the head coach kind of handcuffs the coach.
I agree with that, but it's usually a head coach that Nick Saban, for a long time, would not let coaches throw the football.
Yes.
Les Miles, for his entire time at LSU, that we are not throwing the football. Like, yes, that used to be a way of thinking. I don't know that is now. Wow, you don't hire a boy genius like that today if you're going to just handcuff him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't think they take the job if you're going to do that.
No, I agree.
That's the difference.
Well, I think he is the offensive coordinator right now. He's been the wide receiver coach.
Yeah,
for a couple of years.
He worked his way up.
Yeah, worked his way up.
Right.
Last interesting game here. We'll run through it quickly. Wake Forest and NC State. That is rotation 107 and 108. And NC State is -2.5 across the board. They are the favorite here. Wake did not look terrible against Clemson last week. I think they actually showed a little bit of fight. Sam Hartman wasn't great, but he was all right. They got their backups in. They did all kind of stuff on that one. The analytics side of it says that Wake should be favored by 3 points. And I kind of like this. I mean, they held Clemson to 4.0 yards per carry rushing the football. That's pretty impressive.
We didn't see any way on earth for them slowing down Etienne.
And they did.
They did.
I mean, Etienne himself still had like almost 6 yards to carry.
Well, yes.
But they still slowed him down. He didn't have the breakout runs. He didn't have all that kind of stuff. I think that Wake is pretty good. Corey Sterling jumps in, said, I love the show, guys. We appreciate you, Corey, for sure. We appreciate everybody that's watching. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for jumping in. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and you head over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. I like Wake Forest a lot in this.
I do too.
I like them a lot because they've had a game under their belt. NC State has had some problems with having to pause practices and all that kind of stuff. I think Wake Forest is better than people are giving them credit for. I like Dave Clawson as a coach more than I like Dave Doran.
I can't believe how well Wake Forest played so much above their head against Clemson last week.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this game and I'm trying to think, is this Clemson just kind of not showing them everything and just kind of holding back? But they've never done that in the past. And that's what's strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely strange. I don't believe Clemson.
So I'm wanting to believe it was Wake Forest actually doing well and not being held back.
I mean, obviously, we will see this week in Raleigh, but yeah, this is a late night game on the ACC network. I am interested to see it just because, I mean, NC State was awful last year.
Yep.
And Wake Forest has been pretty good under Dave Clawson. So we do have a couple of news tidbits. FAU did not practice today. They are going to have a bunch of guys out this week due to COVID concerns against Georgia Southern. So that line has completely flipped.
Yes.
It was FAU -6. It is now down to FAU -1.5 in some spots. I mean, just kind of crazy how quickly that has flipped. And Arkansas State's game against Central Arkansas has been postponed. Did you see that Army called Central Arkansas today when that news was announced?
No.
Army wanted them to fly up this weekend for a game.
Take that check.
Hey, they said there's no way that we could do that.
Take
That's
that check.
not
Yes,
healthy
you
for the
can.
kids.
Oh, why not?
And so, hey, I'm with you. Take the
$2
check.
million
but
wouldn't. Come on.
You think Army's paying somebody $2 million?
I bet they listen. They got the biggest budget in the world.
Well, true, but I don't.
They got the defense budget money. What are you talking about? You think SEC money comes close to what these academies can do?
You might have a point there.
Come
you might have a
on.
point. All right, let's move into our official picks. I am giving mine out first. Here is Gary's picks on the show. I'm going Pitt and Syracuse under the total. That's 50 right now. I think that Syracuse may not score in this game. I really think they may not score, and I don't see Pittsburgh's offense being able to put up a ton of points against Syracuse's defense. They might have enough to cover. Like, I'm not touching on this. I'm just going with the under 50.
This is
here.
another team total that I want to look at when we get to Saturday as Syracuse's team total.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I am going Louisiana -17 against Georgia State. Georgia State was awful against the run last year, and that was when they had dudes. They don't have Dan Ellington now. They were awful. They went 1-4 down the stretch when Dan Ellington, their star quarterback, was hurt, and now this year they don't have him. He graduated. No spring practice with a new quarterback. It's going to be an issue. I really like Louisiana -17. BC at Duke. I like Duke -5.5. Anything less than a touchdown, I am a fan of here because I think that Duke wins this game by at least a touchdown and maybe more. There's nothing like getting that game experience. BC, first-year head coach. That coaching mismatch is massive right now. So I will take Duke in this spot. I like Marshall at home +5 against App State. I think that Marshall is incredibly talented. I think they have got an all-star quarterback right now in Grant Wells. I think App State, you are now 2 years removed from that player development under Scott Satterfield that we were talking about, and I think this is another coaching mismatch. I think Doc Holliday is a better coach than Sean Clark right now. And I've got two more. I've got Louisville -2.5 at home against Miami. If it's under a field goal, I love it here. I think that they will probably win by more. I think Louisville, after getting really embarrassed at Miami last season, is going to circle this one. I think they're going to be ready. And I like Wake Forest +2.5 at NC State. I think Wake Forest is the better team. They played Clemson last week. NC State is nothing like Clemson. When you've already played, this is like when you swing in the batter's box and you got the weights on the bat, and then you take the weight off the bat. They played Clemson last week,
That's right.
and now they're playing NC State.
Yep.
Like, give me a break. I'll take Wake Forest, and I'm sprinkling on the money line on
Yes, sir.
all these dogs this week. So
Yeah.
there you go. What you got? Chris's official picks here.
Yeah, these are my official picks. I'm going back to the well. They were the only win I had last week. I'm hoping they can give me 2 in a row. Taking Louisiana -17 against Georgia State. I like this team. I think that Billy Napier is auditioning to be a big boy head coach in Power 5 next year.
South Carolina.
I would. Oh God, yeah, I love Coach Boone, but I kind of love Coach Boone because I love South Carolina.
There you go.
That would not upset me at all. They're just a superior team. I think they're the best team in this conference, and I think they're gonna show people they're the best team in the conference when they play conference games. Next, I'm going Tulane. Tulane -6.5. I just don't think this Navy team is very good. I don't think their head coach is focused on football right now, and I wish I'd have known that information when they played against BYU. And now we know it. And you know what? You cannot play against Willie Fritz and Will Hall and this Tulane team and not be prepared. They're going to run it all over them. They're going to throw it all over them. They're going to beat them up. They're going to beat them up bad. Taking Josh Heupel. I'm taking Central Florida. I'm nervous about taking a team that hadn't played a game yet because there's just as much of a chance that they come out and lay a complete egg.
True.
But I think trust the quarterback. I trust the head coach. I trust these guys to be ready. I'm putting trust in them to be ready. If they show up and they are prepared to play football, I think they're going to beat up on Georgia Tech. I also think Georgia Tech is about to have a major letdown because they just won their Super Bowl.
Yes.
People thought they might win a game or two, and they just went to Florida State and beat them and kind of beat up on them.
Yeah.
I think there's a big comeback to earth with that. I'll lay the 7.5. I'm with you on Marshall. This is my favorite game of the weekend to watch. This might be my favorite. Now, Tulane's probably my favorite pick of the weekend. I love this pick, though. Doc Holliday is an unbelievable coach. You talk about player development. This guy is growing things at Marshall. And if you're not paying attention to some of these smaller conferences, please do. I love that they get the 2:30 CBS game because they are getting some primetime eyes, and people are going to be shocked at what good football this really is. And my last pick, I'm taking Louisiana Tech plus the 5.5. The number is squirrely. It doesn't make sense. I saw that Southern Miss team play. That's a dog team. They didn't want to play. They didn't want to be out there. If they show up fired up, ready to play football this week, they're all frauds. Every one of those kids were frauds.
So you got Louisiana Tech plus 5.5. Is that right?
5.5 is what I saw this afternoon. What's it now? I hadn't.
This is
It's still 5.5. Pinnacle.
Aaron Martin has jumped in and has said, "Fade these guys, y'all. Fade. Hey,
well, you can definitely fade me.
If you are going to be successful, look, last week, fading both of us, you would have made money.
That's right.
Totally fair. Had you faded me the week before that,
you'd done bad.
You'd have been in some trouble. So just saying. Every week is a different thing, and this is going to be an interesting, confusing, exciting kind of year.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Do you have a parlay?
No, you think of one. You give one out, and I'll figure
so
it out.
I'm going to roll with the ones that I've got here. I like Louisiana minus 17. I like Duke minus 5.5, and I like Louisville minus 2.5. I'm going with all favorites on that one. I really like those teams. Those are teams that have already played. I like, now some of them are going against teams that have already played, but I see these teams.
Yep.
I see these teams. I know what's going on. Average Citizen jumps in and said, what about Houston Baylor? We already talked about that early in the game or early in the show. You can go back and knock out that. Let's see, State 88. Did you guys pick Liberty and Western Kentucky? Sorry, just got here. No, we will be discussing that one on Saturday because the line looks squirrely to me. But we will discuss it on the Saturday morning show. Remember, right here, 11 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday morning, we are going to be going over every single closing line, discussing all the line moves, what we like, what we don't like. We'll give out some more picks, all of that good stuff. But yeah, my parlay, Louisiana minus 17, Duke minus 5.5, and Louisville minus 2.5.
If I was going to do a parlay, I'd just do a two-team, Tulane, Marshall.
Tulane and Marshall.
Those are the two bets I like the best.
Yeah, no Louisiana.
No, Louisiana three-way bit me.
Yeah,
one of them did well. The other two stole my money.
Yeah,
it's not
I think
good.
You're right about that. Let's see. Victor Yoro says Syracuse is good this week. Put something on it. Shiloh Israel said, just remember I told you Southern Miss. And Robert S. said, nice show, guys. Thanks. Hey, we appreciate all of you guys, everybody that has jumped in here, that comes in and wants to comment and knock all this stuff out. We will see you all on Saturday morning. But before we do that, make sure you are subscribed, that you like this video, that you share the video out. Leave us your comments. Tell us what you think here. We would love to hear your thoughts on these games. We will be back live on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Sportsbook Review YouTube page. You can find more stuff, including our articles with our picks and whatnot, this week over at sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. We have got a fantastic crew over there. Bunch of the guys that are working behind the scenes, a bunch of great writers. Everybody's got good content over there. sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. Anything else we need to hit?
I think that's it, brother.
I think that's it for right now. We'll see you all on Saturday morning for sportsbookreview.com. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And we will see you all next time.